Okay, so now I'd like to just take some time and look at the name meanings in the descendants of Cain, because I think we'll see a few little things that are confirmed elsewhere in the Bible. And then we also get the first man to take two wives. So Cain gives birth to Enoch, which means dedicated, and he gives birth to Irad, or his wife does, give her the credit, gives birth to Irad, which means fleet or runner, and then he gives birth to, or his wife gives birth to Mehujael, which means smitten by God. And so dedicated runner, smitten by God. And that's just a good description of someone who wants to live their life their own way. They are going to constantly be running from God, right? And we just, nobody wants to live that way. You don't want to live that way. I don't want to live that way. So make sure you're not the kind of person that is just running from God. And then Lamech, he is Mehujael's grandson, and his name means powerful. And he has two wives, and this is the first record of a man taking two wives. And I think it's notable to say that it's because he is powerful. You know, God made us male and female. Excuse me, I've been coughing tonight. And typically, you know, if you take the average man and the average woman, and the average man is stronger physically than a woman. And the Bible even says that women are the weaker vessel, and I really do believe that that means physical strength. So the reason why history hasn't been typically a woman taking multiple husbands, but a man taking multiple wives, I believe, is an issue of power. And I don't know what these women, you know, what it was like back then. Maybe they, you know, the second wife found it to be comfortable. Maybe he did have power and was able to protect her. But it's interesting what the names of these women are. And by the way, I don't believe God ever condones having multiple wives, even told the Israelite kings to not multiply wives unto yourselves, and that was the downfall of Solomon. And I've said it before that it's a picture. Multiple wives are a picture of God having almost like multiple wives with having Jews and Gentiles. And then he made them one under Christ. That's why it's so important that, you know, in the Christian faith, that we only have one wife. And when the Bible and the New Testament talks about being a deacon or being a bishop in the church, an elder in the church, it's supposed to be the man of only one wife, to show and signify that God has made us, his people, into one through Jesus Christ. We're no longer Jews and no longer Gentiles. But the interesting thing is that his wives' names are Ada or Ada and Zillah. Now I'll say Ada. Ada means ornament, and Zillah means shade. So it's, you know, just that speaks some truth. That when you have two wives, if a man were to have two wives, I believe he would esteem one more than the other. You know, Zillah, her name is shade, like she's in the shadows. She has to live in the shadows of Ada, which means ornament. Like, I believe he just lifted one more than the other. And Zillah actually mentions her daughter, which she named Loveliness. And I believe that was probably due to the fact that she didn't feel like the special and the more lovely wife, and therefore she named her daughter Naamah, which means loveliness. And I just thought that was weird. Why would it name one woman, one girl, besides the wives in this genealogy? And I believe it was for that reason, because of what it means. So the takeaway to this is just that you know, God isn't dealing with us in this way. That this, I believe that the multiple wives in the Old Testament is symbolic that God had Jews and Gentiles. He separated them, and I believe he did it for a purpose, and to show that there was this disconnection of intimacy in the Old Testament that that was fixed through Jesus Christ. He fixed intimacy between God and man, and therefore he fixed the intimacy between men and women. I believe that our intimacy as a couple in a marriage is dependent upon our intimacy with God. And the reason why there was this brokenness in the Old Testament between men and women is because there was broken intimacy between mankind and God. And so praise God that he fixed it. He didn't leave us in the condition he was in. He sent Jesus Christ to die for us, to reconnect us, to rebuild intimacy between man and God, mankind and God. And that in turn fixed, I believe, the intimacy issues with men and women. Now, of course, there's so many broken marriages, and there's so many, you know, I make mistakes as a husband, and I say things I wish I wouldn't have said, and have attitudes that I wish I wouldn't have had, and I certainly have to work on fixing that. But I believe we are capable of so much more intimacy now between husband and wife, because of the example we have with Jesus Christ in the church. So praise God. God doesn't have multiple wives. We're no longer Jews and Gentiles, but we are made one through Jesus Christ, and we are one body in him.